What is up, guys? I am super stoked to be back here for our weekly episode of Test Your Might, which is our video game debate show podcast. Whew, it's a mouthful every time, but I'm getting better at it. So, welcome. If you're here, hey, how's it going? I'm waving at you. You see me on YouTube. If you're listening, what up, everyone? This is me, Jelly. We also have in the house for the first time in a while, Mike. Mike, what is going on, buddy?
Hey, it's been a minute. Glad to be back. COVID riddled through my family, and now I'm back podcasting. So we'll see how long I last. I might just collapse, mid argument.
If you do, I've got your address. Don't worry, I will call 911 and let your wife know. Yeah. You'll be safe.
It's the only way.
What I'm saying is, we got you. It's the only way
Cicero is going to win tonight. Is if I.
Oh collapse. Yeah, that's what it is.
Ooh, okay.
Man,
And speaking of, I got Cicero Holmes here.
Yeah, you go ahead and you can say all those things. I'll just say hi to your mother for me.
And there it is. I'm going to say hi to everyone else watching and listening. And also, while you're watching and listening, go ahead and, as long as you're not driving, open up that phone, that computer, the tab, whatever you're in. Go ahead and leave us a like, a review, a little subscribe if you're on YouTube, and notification bell because, hey, you want to know when the video goes up, right? I mean, we have a schedule, but it's nice to know anyways. Housekeeping, we have a new episode of 90s First Podcast coming up, and it is Halloween themed. So, not the holiday Halloween, but we're talking the franchise Halloween. There are 2 90s Halloween films, and there's a new one we get to talk about as well. Halloween Kills, as Justin reminded me last week.
Yep. We're actually also gonna
not super excited.
we're gonna do 2 episodes. So we're gonna do a Halloween episode, more jelly side, where
family appropriate.
Watch some fun Halloween stuff, and then we're actually going to do a special on the 90s Halloween movies, the Michael Myers, and then we'll review the newest one.
Wait, wasn't he Austin Powers?
No, that's Mike Myers.
Yeah, baby, I'm gonna kill you with my knife.
No. That's not how it goes.
I think that's how those movies
Knife
are.
in your belly.
And then we'll review the recent Halloween Kills. So stay tuned for those 2 episodes. The Halloween special, the Michael Myers one, is going to come out October 31st. So right on that Sunday, we're going to do a special episode. So
perfect. And Mike, you missed it last week. We talked about 50 episodes, and it's kind of a big deal. So because you were gone, you didn't get to say anything. Now you do.
Yeah,
say something.
Say something.
Perfect. All right, moving on.
No, I mean, first and foremost, I just want to thank everybody who listens on a weekly basis. I cannot believe that the show that, I remember the days that I was talking and brainstorming with Jelly about the show. I had this amazing idea, in my opinion, to come up with a video game debate show. It's a great idea. And I remember about 6 episodes in, I was like, I gotta get Cicero. Cicero needs to be on the show, all the time. He needs to be my Max Kellerman to my Stephen A. That's what it's gotta be.
That was a sports ball reference, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It flew right over my head. That's how I knew.
And so, just to everybody who has been on the show, who's listening now, thank you so much for joining and having fun with us. But also just thanks for sharing it out. The premise of the show, I believe in. I love it. And I'm thankful that I have a bunch of friends by my side who have helped me and us and all of us, grow it to where it is right now. So just wanted to say thanks. Thanks for 50 episodes, and here's to a bajillion more.
Heck yeah. Also, you're welcome. I mean, I'm going to say it for everyone because, they could say it through socials. Yeah. But I'm going to say it right now. You're welcome. And thanks for having us here because we wouldn't be here without you. It was your idea. It's a great idea. And I think I can speak for everyone here and say we've been having a blast doing it.
Yeah.
If you're ready, we have a question of the week. And inside baseball on this one. The outline was put together by Justin, aka Rubber Duck, which means he changed it up a little bit. So we are not doing a genre type thing, but we're doing favorite game by a specific developer / publisher. This week's is Square Enix. So, Cicero,
Yes.
what is your favorite game produced, published, put out by Square Enix or Square Enix?
This game came out for the PlayStation, I believe. And it was a Japanese combat game that went by the name of Bushido Blade.
I didn't hear any of that. It'll be in the recording, but can you say it
Yes.
one more time?
Bushido Blade.
Bushido Blade.
Bushido Blade.
I've never even heard of it. I'm excited to hear more about that.
This is a Japanese combat game. So this game was it was about the rules of samurai combat, and that was the Bushido. And so you wouldn't do anything that was kind of not even like against the rules, but in bad form. So you can't stab somebody in the back. You can't attack someone when they're not ready. All of these things, and so you had to fight with honor. But the cool thing about Bushido Blade was you could stab somebody in their arm, and they would lose the ability to use that arm, but they could still fight. And
Black Knight style.
Yeah, so and you could slice somebody in the leg, and they would be on the ground, and they would be rolling around and trying to stab you. Just but a flesh wound. So like you could have battles in Bushido Blade that lasted 5 minutes or 5 seconds. So it was super cool. They had a co-op, not a co-op, but a versus version, but it was mostly single player where you go to a stage, you'd have to fight somebody, and then you'd move on to the next stage. And it was impossibly hard because it was so easy to die.
Was this Square before they became Square Enix? Was it that early?
This was 2000. Well, maybe it was even earlier than that. So, it might have just been Square, but
I think we can still count it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not questioning the validity. I was just wondering if it was Square until
97.
merged.
It was Squaresoft, okay. Yeah. So it was 97.
Gotcha.
All right. Mike, favorite game by Square Enix?
It's in my top 5 video games of all time. I've mentioned it several times on the show. It's on this shirt. She's playing Pokemon, or she's playing Mario Kart over there. It is Tomb Raider, the 2013 reboot by Crystal Dynamics, which is a Square Enix developer, and it's one of my favorite games of all time. I love it. The fact that they took this game that I grew up with and made it even more of an adventure and more thrilling. Just combat wise was great too. I love bow and arrows. Like bow and arrows in a game, it's just like you're speaking my language here. Tomb Raider, the reboot. If you haven't played it, seriously, play it. Like there's a definitive version that came out for the Xbox One. It's probably like $5 right now, something like that. Just play it. It's so good. And then go ahead and play Rise of the Tomb Raider and Shadow of the Tomb Raider because those are great too. So,
am I allowed to cheat?
Depends on how you.
If I were to say Final Fantasy VII, is that cheating because they did re-release it a couple times as Square Enix? Well,
it was Square.
No, it was Square.
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, perfect. Winning. Boom, done.
That's not even cheating.
Enough said. If you haven't been here before, and this is your first time, I like the turn-based strategy of Final Fantasy VII. There was a bit of a back and forth on episode 50. Go ahead and take a listen to that. Somebody, I'm not going to mention who, but it wasn't me, didn't like turn-based strategy. So just take that for what it's worth.
Oh, it was Khalif Adams.
I was going to throw him under the bus like that, but sure, yeah.
He would throw you under the bus. I mean, it's all fun and games.
It's all fun and games until you get thrown under the bus.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, Final Fantasy VII. It's a fantastic game. One of the best games. Yeah.
Cool.
Again, enough said. I have been playing Apex. That's what we're doing right now. What have we been playing? I've been playing Apex. I am determined to get to Diamond. I am close. Not as close as I'd like to be, but I'm close. That's all I've been playing. Mike, what have you been playing?
So I am still continuing my journey through Psychonauts, the original. I'm about 8 to 10 hours in. Almost done. I'm currently in the wild and crazy Matador episode, or Matador mind, where you're trying to find these cards for a card. I forget his name, but he creates sculptures. He creates structures out of cards, and he's missing
Michelangelo.
He's missing cards, and you have to go get it. Well, the whole level is there's a bull that you're trying to run from and stay away from, and then you're fighting matadors, the like Mexican wrestlers and stuff like that. It's kind of fun.
Luchadors.
Yeah, luchador. There you go. Anyway, so I'm close to the end in that, and that's really fun. I'm excited to start the second one after that. But I've also been playing Need for Speed Most Wanted again with my son.
Nice.
Yeah, we just beat the third rival, and if you guys don't know, the rival, if you haven't played that game, when you defeat a rival, you get a choice of 6 things that you could choose. They're like little bonuses, and 3 of them are random. Well, underneath the random is the pink slip, so you could take his car. And so I did get the pink slip for the third one, and the third guy, he has a Toyota Supra, and the Supra has always been one of my favorite cars in all of Need for Speed. So I got that, and it was a significant upgrade from what I had. So I tricked it out with a little bit of more handling, like better tires, better suspension. And then also
Vinyls, Underglow?
No,
yeah.
So not really vinyl.
Oh wait, it's not underground. That's right.
Anyway, that's a debate for another day. What's fun that I've been experiencing with my kid playing that game is I let him choose the color of my car and what goes on the car. So
nice.
All our cars have been bright neon green.
Yes.
And then we literally just added some flames to it because I showed him some of the decals and he wanted some fire.
Yes.
So
that's fire.
Yeah. Fire means it goes faster.
Yeah.
Science.
100 horsepower
and
extra.
So he chose the color of the fire, and I said, "Okay, what color do you want?" And the first color he said was brown.
Brown fire. Yes.
I was like, okay. So I did the brown as the outline of the fire. And then he chose purple for the inside. So we have purple flames outlined with brown.
So you know that those flames, so the more blue the flame is, the more intense that flame is.
Yeah.
The hotter it is. So you've got a pretty hot flame.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's
see, my son
producing,
knows. My son knows.
Right, brown methane gas.
Anyway, but I have been playing something new as well, which was Thursday night. This past Thursday, I tried playing Back for Blood with Cicero, but he completely ditched us for Panda Express.
Yes.
That sounds very good.
So we, me, Justin, and friend of the show, Sean Rugg, and then Cicero played via cloud gaming with touch controls. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
He had a controller, but he was for some reason still using cloud gaming when he was sitting in front of his Xbox. So I have no clue what this man is.
Just testing it out, you know. You gotta know.
But
I get it.
I'm sure Cicero will comment a little bit on it, but despite all the glitches, despite some of the clunkiness to the game, it is so much fun. It was so much fun. Just destroying some hordes of zombies with Sean and Justin. Again, Cicero played like maybe one mission with us.
I played a chapter.
So, but man, I had a blast. Honestly, it's a couple patches away from being like a super outstanding game, and it's already great right now in my opinion. So just a lot of fun. They implemented this new system called the card system. Yes, very very innovative in their naming. But it's really cool. You get to build your own deck as you go through each chapter, and each of the cards gives you different like abilities and stuff like that. So like gives you like an example of the card is like +5 health, you know, and you can continually add those types of cards to your deck, and it makes it a lot more interesting. So a lot of fun. Back for Blood.
So they added a skill tree and called it a card instead.
No, it's not a skill tree.
No. Yeah, it's not a skill tree.
No, because it's not permanent. It's only you could build your own deck. Like you could change up the cards.
Right, and then you burn that card.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, one and done. Okay.
Well, no, it's not one and done. It's one and done in the sense of your runs. So like if you're running right now, you could choose a certain deck and you could continue to add cards to that. But then if you play another time, you could do a different card set, you know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That seems pretty unique. All right. Cicero, you played one chapter of Back for Blood. What else did you play?
I played some Madden 22 yet again because I was hearing rumblings that the scouting patch that had been promised to be delivered in September had finally was coming, and it finally released. It is available now, so I'm starting my new connected franchise with my friend, and we're going to play through it, and I'm going to see how the scouting is. This game is still patches away from being acceptable. It's fine, but it's not good. It's not quite, to be honest, it's not worth the price that you pay for the game.
Oof.
But it's football. It is an improvement over last year, but it's an incremental improvement, not enough to have had to pay another full price for in order to get it. But maybe this scouting will be so great that it will move the needle a little bit more. I did play Back for Blood in cloud mode via Game Pass. I did that so I didn't have to download it. I could have downloaded it really quickly, but I didn't want to have to download it. I wanted to see how cloud gaming was working. And it was easy. It was super easy. The one thing that did happen that was weird was when I started, my gun was in my face.
Yeah.
So instead of so instead of
it was really funny.
so it's like it's a first person game. So you see your gun, but like the butt of the gun was where my head would be, and then if I tried to aim down sights, it just like moved the gun sideways. So I could never aim down sights.
It was so funny. Me, Sean, and Justin, like all we hear from Cicero was, I can't ADS. Like I can't, I can't ADS. And we're just like, well, it's the left triggers. I'm like, and just like,
right.
And
I'm aware of how it works. It was just bugging out. But then I switched my guns and I switched back, and then it was fine. So, but like, I didn't switch my gun until halfway through the mission.
That was fun.
So, like, all the reloads, everything that I was doing was just weird for that. Right. Yeah. There was a little, I want to say I felt like there was latency a little bit when I was playing in the cloud, but I I can't say that for certain. If there was, I don't know if it was just the glitchiness of the fact that my gun was where it was or whatever. But where I wasn't having glitchy first person experiences was with my new fascination or obsession, and that is Insurgency Sandstorm, I think is the name after the colon. Insurgency Sandstorm. It's a game that came out as a first person shooter that came out on PC 2-3 years ago, and was doing well on PC. They finally brought it to consoles. It's on Xbox now, and it is I've said this for the last few weeks that I think that especially this quarter of this gaming year is going to be all about nostalgia, right? And playing, reminding yourself about game types and gaming experiences from your past that you really enjoyed, that you didn't realize were missing, but now that you're experiencing them again, you didn't realize how much you did miss them. I think you'll feel that way playing the Halo Infinite multiplayer. I think you'll feel that way playing Battlefield 2042. And if you are a gamer such as myself that really enjoyed old school Rainbow Six and old school Ghost Recon, some very tactical first person shooters that aren't battle royales, then that get kind of really nerdy, then Insurgency Sandstorm is a game for you. It is really, really great. It's one shot, one kill. If you get a headshot, it's a kill. If you hit them 3-4 times, they're definitely going down. Time to kill is really short. But it's about being tactical. It's about communicating with your teammates, about coordinating and doing all of those things at the same time that make teamwork something that was really great in the early age of internet gaming on consoles. And I really love being able to play something like that again. It's $40 on the Xbox. You can get there's a medium edition that's $60 or $70, and which comes with like the season 1 pack, and then there's a deluxe edition that comes with season 1 and season 2 for $80. So
not totally unreasonable even for the deluxe.
No, yeah, and basically what happens is when you're picking your characters, you can customize your characters in all sorts of different ways. But when you're picking the loadouts for your characters, it's kind of like the Call of Duty Pick 10 system, where all of the different weapon systems have a point value set to them, and you've got a pool of 15 points. And one particular gun could be 4 points. And then the attachment for the for like your optics is 1 or 2 points. And then you can get a silencer or an extended mag or night vision or infrared stuff. And all of those things cost different points. And you can build your loadout based on the points that you have. And everything that you carry has a weight. And that weight will determine how fast you're able to run, how much stamina you'll actually have. All of those things will factor in and, either aid you or hurt you. And they have light armor, heavy armor. Heavy armor obviously will protect you more, but it's heavier, so you move slower, and you can't carry more stuff. It's really cool. There are lots of different game options. I've started playing it the last few days. I'm really enjoying it. It reminds me of all of the things that I used to love about playing games on Xbox Live with the group of guys that I organically kind of circled around that became my gaming buddies over the internet. It brings it right back to that. Great game.
Nice. Yeah, it sounds almost like a Tarkov made console friendly. Different sort of aspect of gameplay, but with weapons and kind of getting geared up and things like that. Weight, and you have to actually know what you want to carry, how fast you want to be able to move, stuff like that, and it all matters. Right. That sounds fun. That was Insurgency, colon whatever, blah 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 blah.
Sandstorm, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
I like it.
Colon blah 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 blah.
Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, call me Greta Thunberg. You guys ready for the news?
Sure.
Oh, there's news.
Nintendo pulled a Nintendo, so that's news. They released some big news, quote unquote, Friday, and not talking about Animal Crossing. The expansion membership will be $50 per year, but you get N64 and Sega content with it. So, I don't think any of us are surprised that Nintendo wants more money for their very poor online content. The real question is, are we going to upgrade? So, Mike, you going to get the upgraded Nintendo?
Well, considering I don't even have the downgraded Nintendo right now, I would just have
Sounds
to.
like a no.
I would just have to sign up and not upgrade. No, I'm not doing this. I'm actually really upset about it because I feel as if the price is slightly inflated because they are including the Animal Crossing DLC. And then, but also, like, even if I did play Animal Crossing, by the way, you're just renting that DLC. It will be deleted from your system if you don't keep paying for the $50 membership. Like that's just how it's going to work. And so I think it's really shady. The only upside to it is if they continue doing this, and then eventually it comes around where there's going to be DLC that is included in this expansion pack for games that I will actually play. That's really the only benefit that it is. But at the end of the day, like, I don't even think adding N64 and Sega games brings that price up. Like, I just don't. These are games that I could emulate, and like, I would love to play them on the go with my Switch. Like, I do feel like that would be a cool option, but I'm not paying $50 a year for it, especially when there's no benefit besides those games. Like, even though they're adding online play with like Mario Kart 64, I'm not going to be able to play because I'm not going to be able to connect to a server because I'm not going to be able to find friends. You know what I'm saying? I know what I'm saying.
I don't know what you're saying. I believe you could connect to a server. Not that it's enough. And even like, we know my favorite game, Zelda Ocarina of Time. Said it multiple times here.
I haven't heard that.
I know, first time for Cicero, obviously. Right. It's not enough for me to upgrade and keep my online just to play this. Had they gone to even as much as 40, would have been a little more reasonable and a little more understandable. You know, $39.99 a year, not super outrageous. I feel like it would have been a little bit better. But right now, yeah, they increased it by like 180% or 175% the cost of it, and no thanks. Like, it's not enough. It's not enough to pull me in. So I will cancel mine because I do have my yearly Nintendo subscription for $20, which is totally reasonable, more than reasonable. But yeah, I will be getting rid of that apparently, unfortunately. Unless they lower prices. So hopefully if you own a Nintendo Switch and you don't like the prices, you should also cancel, and then they'll get the message. Maybe it's Nintendo. So
now, to be fair, I think it might stay $20 if you don't want the expansion pack. Like, I think for everything that is out now, I think it still stays $20, but like, I don't know. I kind of want those N64 games, but not the $50 price. I know Cicero loves this.
Yeah, man, I do. And I don't understand why you guys are complaining about it. It's Nintendo. Listen, I got the $20 online thing. I forget that I have it. Their online is stupid.
It's so bad.
At $50, it'll still remain stupid. But look, it's $50 a year. You guys are making perfect sense in why you don't have it. Making perfect sense on boycotting it. But again, here's the thing. It's $50 a year. People that like Nintendo are going to buy it. So they're not going to get the message. It's not, that part's not going to work. Now, what could happen with this is that Nintendo could decide that, yeah, we're going to have DLC and we're going to make that DLC available to the Nintendo Online Plus Superfan. And, but they're not going to let it, they're not going to make it available to them for free, but what they may give them is a discount, right? Like maybe you save 10% if you're a Nintendo Superfan Plus Ultra member, right?
I like that.
And but Nintendo probably won't do that either, right? Like it's just Nintendo, right? So they just do dumb things. But the thing about it is that the increase seems large. Right? It seems large and dramatic since it is 150% more than the original price.
Relatively, it is large.
Yeah, but it's $50 for the year. Is price parity with the other, what used to be the other online services, giving similar types of things away. Well, in Nintendo's mind, Nintendo is your
mind. That's fair.
Yeah, Nintendo is your grandparents, right? Like they're your grandparents.
They think they're doing a really nice thing,
right? And they think they're doing,
but a dollar isn't quite worth the same,
right? They think they're doing the same thing that the other people are doing, and they're clearly not. But like, it doesn't matter. Much like your grandparents, you kind of love them because they do this stuff. And not despite it.
Every video game console is a Nintendo.
It is. So that's what they do. It's what they're gonna do, and people will wind up buying it.
Oh, people are gonna buy it. People are going to keep it and forget, and they're gonna automatically upgrade everyone unless you opt out. And then everyone's gonna have this $50 charge, and they're not.
They won't do that. They won't do that.
This is Nintendo.
They won't do that.
No,
they won't
I
do
think
that
they won't do that because I think they still have the $20 option. You just don't get the N64, the Sega stuff,
right?
And then obviously the Animal Crossing DLC.
Right.
Good. That would be so shady if they did.
No. They won't do that because they'll get sued. That's a class action suit waiting to happen.
But they're Nintendo. They can pay for it.
Yeah.
I mean, publicity is publicity.
Yeah.
They don't want that smoke.
Yeah, they don't want that smoke.
Fair enough. Speaking of Nintendo, they're getting DC. No, just kidding. They're not getting DC. But DC fandom trailers for Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad. Almost did the same thing you did. Suicide Squad. Have been released, dropped, aired. Uploaded yesterday. They are available for consumption. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think about those, Mike? I know you were pretty excited for these ones.
I am stoked for Gotham Knights. I am so on Suicide Squad.
Okay.
I mean, the tagline for Suicide Squad is "Kill the Justice League." So, I just don't know. I don't know where the story is, and Suicide Squad has never really been an intellectual property that I've been super into. So. I don't know if it's going to do it for me in video game form. Gotham Knights, however, oh man, I'm so stoked. They released the story trailer, and it's all about the Court of Owls, which is one of my favorite Batman comic book arcs in the New 52.
Court of Olives?
Court of Owls.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Did I slur that a
little martini action going on?
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry.
Shaken, not stirred, Batman.
The name's
It was
Man.
that northeastern accent you got.
The name's Man. Batman.
Yeah, Batman.
No, I'm
helicopter.
so stoked for it. Really excited to see like how Bruce Wayne dies because he's apparently dead in this. Really to
Whoa.
Yeah, spoilers. It's in the trailer.
I didn't watch it. So.
Just the ability to use Nightwing, Robin, Batgirl, and Red Hood. Red Hood.
Red Hood.
Just all 4 characters, and each of them has individual skill trees, and the game is fully co-op. So like, I'm just really looking forward to playing this with some friends and going through that storyline of the Court of Owls. So stoked.
All right, Cicero, what about you, man?
You know what? I kind of feel opposite of Mike on this one.
All right.
Not to say that I'm not excited for Gotham, from Gotham Knights. I am excited, and what I saw of the story that they, the trailer and the story in the trailer has me excited for what the story could be, but there was no gameplay footage. There was nothing that looked like someone was using a controller to control things in the trailer. And so like, you can make a trailer be anything.
They already had a gameplay trailer last year at DC Fandom.
Yeah,
so.
but that was like a vertical slice. Like, we don't know if the images that we saw in that vertical slice from last year is indicative of anything that this trailer that we just watched on Saturday was informing us about, right? Like, they could be completely, like, they could have completely scrapped all of that. So we don't know what it is. And that's, so like, I don't want, it's hard to get excited for trailers for games when you don't see gameplay.
You don't want to get them hopes up too high,
right? Because you don't know.
I think it's different with this because the gameplay, right? Because
do I?
Yeah, because this is WB Montreal and they made Batman Arkham Origins, and so the combat is similar to the Arkham games.
I can assume I can make assumptions,
and it is
right, and I can make assumptions. But
I'm saying the last year's trailer was a full gameplay trailer.
Yes. Right,
and that's what it is.
Something that may not be like that thing that we saw last year may not be anything like what we get. We didn't get a gameplay trailer this time around. And that is what I'm saying. So a year ago, you showed me something, but I haven't seen what the game looks like from the last 12 months. So now you shown me a great trailer. It looks great, but I can't get excited about what a game is going to be based on a trailer that has no gameplay. Right? So, but that's me. I'm not talking about anybody else.
How dare you?
Yeah, exactly. Now, on the other hand, Suicide Squad, there were it looked like it was at least in engine. It didn't, it looked kind of rough, but what I liked about what I saw from Suicide Squad was that it felt a lot like Guardians of the Galaxy, where, ragtag group, you don't know, kind of anti-heroes, and they're off doing their thing. And also another great story where the Justice League has been taken over by some, by like the red kryptonite or some entity has turned the Justice League sour. And now you've got to fight Superman and Green Lantern and the Flash and Wonder Woman and Batman. Like, that's super cool. So I'm really excited for that as well. Like, I'm really excited for both of the games, but I came out of that those two trailers more excited for Suicide Squad than I did for Gotham Knights, based on what they showed us at Fandom.
All right. It's exciting. So who we know who's doing the Batman one. Who's doing Suicide Squad? Is it same publisher?
It's
Well, yeah, it is WB.
it's
but-
Rocksteady. So the Suicide Squad is the
Okay.
Batman Arkham trilogy. The Gotham Knights is WB Montreal. I believe their last game was Arkham Origins. So,
All right.
Okay.
which is Batman.
So
as
both
well.
of them have a nice like pool to pull from.
Yeah. Like these, I mean, they're in good hands.
Perfect. All right.
So there's reason to be optimistic for both of those
for sure.
games. But I live in a post cyberpunk world, and
Fair enough.
and I have to really make sure that I continue to couch my excitement for games until I can see something concrete that leads me to believe that my excitement is won't be tarnished.
Gotcha. Yeah. They're not going to poop on your dreams.
Yes.
Ideally.
Sure.
All right. That's the news, which means, Mike, if you're ready, Cicero's about to whoop you. No, I'm just kidding. We're about to have a fight and test your might.
Test your might.
Yes, I did just Dr. Seuss that. You're welcome.
Yeah, you did.
All right. We're ready here, listeners, viewers. With the new games from N64 and Sega coming to Nintendo Online, pick a console not currently in the service and add it. Don't forget to bring a few games with that, with the console that you would be adding to Nintendo's online service. You get it. Any console at all, no limitations. So basically that means that you can't be like, oh, they would never do that. We're opening up to everything. We want to know what you think the best addition to Nintendo's online portfolio would be and what games they would bring with it. So, Mike, it's been a while. I'm handing the power directly to you. First or second, which do you choose?
I really hate that you said that because I will always believe that there needs to be some sense of plausibility in arguments. So I'll send it to Cicero first.
Oh man, you shouldn't have done that. You lost.
Good.
All right. So then, is it fair to go? Jelly, may I say what I need to say?
He handed it to you. The floor is yours.
All right.
My good
Well,
sir. Take it away.
then the answer is the TurboGrafx 16. End of the story. It's the third best console of all time. It's the third best, like ABC console of all time. The one that everyone forgets. TurboGrafx 16. If you throw that on the Nintendo lineup and they have all of the access to all of those games, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Done.
So if you're like me and you had to look that up, you're in good company. It sold a lot of units. It is very interesting looking. I'm excited to hear more about it because that's the first time I've ever heard that name spoken. But Mike, we're coming to you. What console would you put into Nintendo's online portfolio? And let's go there, and then we'll get into games and why it's better.
So, Jelly, I'm sorry. I'm going to argue with some level of plausibility and take it with whatever you want. That's just how I argue.
Totally fair.
With the Sega Genesis being part of this, it seems that they have cultivated a relationship with Sega in order for this to happen, to be brought to a Nintendo service. Like it's actually quite mind-boggling that this is even real, to be honest. And so, with this level of like relationship that they seem to be having, I think they should bring the Dreamcast over to the Switch. The Dreamcast has an incredible lineup of games. Sonic Adventure is hugely popular in the Dreamcast community. A lot of people think that it's one of the best Sonic games of all time. They have the original Shenmue. There's a lot of JRPGs on here. Jet Set Radio. You got the best version the best version of Crazy Taxi from the Dreamcast. Put it on there, man. You got Soul Calibur, the original. You also have Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was amazing on the Dreamcast, guys. It was one of the best fighting games ever to exist. Yeah.
Wait. I'm sorry. I gotta cut into this because I'm getting confused. Why are you arguing for more Sega games?
What?
Isn't Sega already gonna be on the platform?
I'm arguing for a different console, Dreamcast.
As opposed to it was all Sega games. So what other console was coming on? It was just Genesis games?
It's just Genesis that's coming onto the Switch Online.
Oh.
It's not Dreamcast.
I thought it was all Sega games.
No, it's just Genesis games. So I believe that they should bring the Dreamcast, as my argument stands.
Okay.
All right. Cicero, why do you think the TurboGrafx 16 needs to be there?
Because well, first off, I misunderstood the assignment a little, but I stand by what I'm saying because while what Mike is bringing makes sense, what you want the rivals at the time. So the Genesis and it was really the Genesis and the SNES. So it should have been Genesis SNES versus the TurboGrafx 16. All three of them were rivals at the same time, and they had libraries that could compete with each other. And that would make a great bundle of games that you could go ahead and play. The TurboGrafx 16 had an incredible library. They had their own mascot, while Nintendo had Mario and Sega had Sonic. TurboGrafx NEC had Bonk and Bonk's Adventures. And he went out and he bonked his caveman head on all sorts of prehistoric no-goodniks. They had incredible sports titles. They had the Turbo Tap. There were all these accessories. You could get 5 people to play in a game at one time. It was just an incredible console with great software. Vibrant, colorful, really engaging. TurboGrafx and an awesome controller back when those gamepads weren't really good. It had gamepads that you could change the button presses. So like you could turn it up and you could just hold the button and it would auto fire, or it would do like triple press for one push just by moving a dial on it. Really, really cool. And again, if you want to teach people about the history of this gaming obsession that we all have, this passion that we all have, you can't forget the other guys. You can't just talk about the big ones. You also have to talk about the true history.
All right. I like it. I like I had never heard of that. I'm doing a lot of research right now as the arguments are going. All the different attachments, which are really neat. Yeah. Very cool. And because you mentioned them, I feel they're valid to the argument. Mike, gonna go back to you real quick for the Dreamcast. Just a little touch. You can fight back, and then I'll make a decision. But this TurboGrafx is neat.
Yeah, I think one of the things that they're obviously doing is re-releasing wireless controllers. So there's the wireless N64 as well as the Genesis controller, and the Dreamcast controller. Not the greatest, but it has a nostalgia factor to it. I think one of the things with Dreamcast is that, as you were talking about, Cicero, Dreamcast is one of those forgotten consoles for a lot of people. Like, really, it didn't hold a candle really to PlayStation, but since Nintendo has there's no way I was going to argue PlayStation 1 or something like that, because again, I argue a little bit implausibility, and there's no way that Sony is going to be putting PlayStation on there. But anyway, with the Dreamcast, I think it just has a very fantastic lineup of games. I mean, Cicero, you mentioned sports. Well, where was the first NBA 2K?
Yeah,
on the Dreamcast.
Allen Iverson
on the cover. They had also
AI.
They also had virtual tennis as well, which was very huge on that system as well.
Right.
So there's a lot of games that you could plug into the Switch that from the Dreamcast era that would really work. I loved the Dreamcast. I remember a friend having a Dreamcast and a lot of bootleg CDs, because that was one of the consoles back in the day that you could really not pay a dime. So, I think Dreamcast would be fun.
Not that we advocate that here at the 90s First.
Yes, that's true.
I have to say it for legally reasons. Obviously, please pay for your games. With that said, yes, bootleg things were an option on the Dreamcast. Cicero, one last little bit from you, and then we'll give it a whirly. Move to the next one.
So the Dreamcast is great. Dreamcast has a great library, but people know this already. And what we need is for people like Jelly who know video games. They feel confident that they know video games, have grown up with games their entire life, but until 5 minutes ago was not even aware that a console named the TurboGrafx even existed. So that's why Nintendo, who has spanned the life of all of these consoles, should pay homage and keep those games and those experiences alive and help newer gamers celebrate all of those things. That's what they need to do. It's part of their mission. It should be.
I like it. I've learned a lot here at Test Your Might. This week it was TurboGrafx 16. Episode 50 was the Vector X, which I had also never heard of.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard of that, please go back and listen to it and Google it, because it's a very neat and unique all-in-one video gaming system, which was awesome. Absolutely awesome. As for the arguments stand as this. Cicero, you didn't understand the full thing, and Mike beat you on it because he came with not only the system, but a lot of great games to back it up. And that counts a lot. As much as I would love for the TurboGrafx 16 and some of these attachments that you mentioned are bad, like just so sick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I would love to see them implement some of that with the Switch, especially because it's a dockable thing. If they could make
the Turbo Tap,
the Switch, some sort of ways to attach to the Switch dock some of these attachments, so sick. But yeah, I'm giving that one to Mike. The Turbo Express handheld video game system. What?
I'm just
the Duo.
Yeah, I'm just gonna argue. Oh yeah, the handheld system was awesome because it was the full power of the console. So it took like 24 AA batteries in order for it to work for like 15 minutes. But I just want to make a point of saying that in our docket it says N64 and Sega, and not the Genesis. So that's why I didn't get it right.
It did not say Sega Genesis, yes. I could have been more clear on that. My apologies.
Yeah, I'm flexing my muscles. I'm coming back for a vengeance. Let's go.
On the next one.
Let's go.
You can have this one. Like
I don't want it.
He can't have it because you're not the judge. Moving on.
You're trying to do
spaghetti.
Ghost Recon Frontline was just announced, which is a battle royale clone, and not a lot of people are thrilled about it. So what I want you to do is pitch a game from Ubisoft that they should have made instead. Mike, you won the last round. Cicero, the power is in your hands. You can take it or hand it off. But what do you want to do, sir?
I'm going to hand it off.
All right. Mike, what is the game that they should have released instead of this battle royale clone?
I want to first off say this, and Cicero, you could agree with me because I know you'll agree with me, that has there ever been a developer in the history of video games that is so out of touch with their fan base? Like, it is impossibly sickening. like oh my goodness. Nobody wants Ghost Recon Frontline. Nobody wants another Warzone clone. Just like, make a Splinter Cell game. You know, like, I'm not gonna argue Splinter Cell just because for me, I feel like we've beaten that dead horse, I should say. So I think that they should have announced a sequel to Rayman Legends. Rayman Legends was a very, very tight, one of the best 2D platformers of the Xbox One, PS4 generation. I believe it might have been on Wii U as well. And it got a re-release on Switch. And I think that they should have they should be doing that because Rayman is it's one of their mascots, you know, like kind of the Rabbids, you know, whatever, but it's one of Ubisoft's mascots. And the fact that Rayman Legends I don't think it got as much love as it deserved. It was such a good 2D platformer. And it was, honestly, I liked it better than some of the newer Marios that came out even, which is pretty crazy. But
ooh, high praise.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like, continue building upon these 2D adventures with Rayman. He's a likable character. He's got likable friends in the franchise, and just, yeah, they should have announced that. Yeah, I mean, Cicero, go ahead. You could argue like Splinter Cell or something, because
No,
just taking my job.
Also,
from
I
me.
would have argued Prince of Persia, but they're already doing a remake of Sands of Time, so I didn't feel like that was good enough.
No.
No,
man.
So pitch of the game that they should have made.
So they should have made a Ghost Recon game. They were right in that. It shouldn't have been Frontlines, right? Ghost Recon Frontlines. Nobody was asking for that. But in Ghost Recon Wildlands, they came out with a DLC where they decided, hey, our scenery is reminiscent of a great 80s action flick starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. That movie was called Predator. What if we add the Predator to Ghost Recon? And they did that, and it was awesome. And it was impossibly hard to beat the Predator. What if we made it a little bit easier? And what if we did Ghost Recon versus Predator co-op or a PvP game? So you could have like a single player where or co-op where you guys could hunt different predators and stuff like that, but you could also have a multiplayer version where it is like Splinter Cell, where they had the spies versus mercs. This could be the mercs versus predators.
All right, I'm interested in it. Mike, back to you, my friend.
There's one problem with that argument, Cicero. You just described Predator Hunting Grounds, a video game that already exists. It is a PvP where one person is the predator, and there are people who are trying to hunt the predator and stop him from predatorizing. Yeah, that's right.
Preying.
Yeah,
preying on
predatorizing.
The predatorizing. Predatorizing.
You know, Ubisoft has of recently has had not only the what's the word I'm looking for, has been giving off the perception of not only wanting to do these so-called AAA like games as a service, and they're going down that road. And
They're force feeding
yeah,
it.
people aren't happy, but they also have this perception upon themselves that they just crank out these open world, go do the adventure type games that are all the same. You look at the Far Cry's of the world, you look at the Assassin's Creed, even the Watch Dogs, whatever.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, a better, more... I get that fans want a Splinter Cell, but, let's widen the portfolio as well, and continue to build upon that 2D platforming with another Rayman Legends 2, something like that. It gives a little bit more breadth to their portfolio, but also at the same time starts to clear this perception of that they're just going into this service type deal, or that they're just doing these open world games. Look at the reception that they got from Mario plus Rabbids, and then also look at the reception that they're getting from Mario plus Rabbids the sequel. Like, these are these outlier video games that Ubisoft is publishing, that are working, and Rayman Legends was one of those. It may have been under the radar of a lot of people, but bring out a second one and then maybe pack it with the original. Like, give the original out as well, make it accessible for everybody to play the original and then play this new one. It brings out their portfolio, gives them a better perception.
All right. Cicero, swing back to you.
Yeah, well, sir, first, I'll address the one thing that you said is, so you're talking about one predator. I'm talking about several predators, right? Like, if you make it a shooter like Spies vs. Mechs, or Spies vs. Mercs in Splinter Cell, where the spies are out there doing their thing and the mercs are doing their things. Aliens would be doing their thing the way that the predators do their stuff with camo and that kind of stuff. And the Marines would be doing it the Marine way, but they know that they're out there hunting predators. So it'll be a very different game than the game that you were describing. But good, good on you for trying to mess me up. That's all right. So the other part that I'll talk about is, while I do appreciate what you're talking about with Rayman Legends was a great game that nobody bought, right? And not enough people bought it, and making that comparison between Rayman Legends and Mario plus Rabbids isn't valid, because Mario plus Rabbids is doing well, not only because it's a great game, and it is a great game, but they took the Rabbids franchise and married it with the Mario franchise, which is gold. It might as well be Star Wars, and put it on the platform that is the Mario platform. So people are going to gravitate towards that. They're not going to gravitate towards Rayman Legends because there's nothing else there. There's nothing that's bringing people in. There is already an established fan base for Ghost Recon for the Tom Clancy games. So if you continue to build within that universe and you marry two different IP together, you take Tom Clancy, you take Predator, and you throw that together, we've already gotten a taste of that. That's going to bring a lot of people in. That's going to pique a lot of interest. And if you basically just take some of the things that we know that they've already done successfully in that co-op space, plus add a single player or a co-op component that gives you a nice narrative, now you've got a decent game. You've got a decent game that people will want to play, at least for a little while.
Fine, I'll put Mario in Rayman Legends too.
There you go. There you go. Mario plus Rayman Legends.
I'm not sure if that was exactly the point, but I like it. And since you said it, is that now part of the argument?
Right.
Shucks. I think I have to go Rayman Legends, and I probably would have gone with Ghost Recon if you could recast Arnold and maybe give him what's his name? The other guy in it, Glover. Was it Glover?
Danny Glover was in the second one.
In the second one, yeah. Give him a sidekick.
What
Otherwise,
if it was Lethal Weapon meets Ghost Recon meets Predator? So it's Riggs and Murtaugh.
Why don't you just add Braveheart too? Like just
right?
all
Yeah,
Mel Gibson's roles.
Right. They're too old for this stuff.
Clancy's
And Die Hard, too.
Braveheart.
Die Hard.
Yeah.
Lethal Die Hard weapons.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I think Rayman. That was a good pitch, Mike. And like I knew who you were talking about. I had to look it up again, but it's the guy who has no legs and arms. He just has hands and feet and a torso.
Yes.
And a head, not attached by any of the
no, it is all
the things that you should have.
There's no appendages.
It's all gravity.
It's a bit weird. I don't think I ever played them though.
They're fun. They're fun platformers.
Played. Okay, I have
go,
played.
Just go straight to
Splinter Cell and
Legends.
Ghost Recon.
It's so good.
All right. I mean, I'm probably not going to play them. Let's be real.
There you go.
Yeah. Just play.
I play Apex. So. There's one game I play. I played Breath of the Wild right there. My Switch is just chilling. But you'd think that I would spend that extra money and just get Breath of the Wild, and or Ocarina of Time I could play on my TV again. I might that might be worth it. I'm not doing it. Get out of here. We're testing lights. I'm gonna go off on a tangent. All right. Number 3. Blast back to the past. So, back when arcades were thriving and that was the place to be gaming, I want you to pitch the best 4-player arcade game ever. So we're going to that in the Wayback Machine, right?
So I was confused by this. So Jelly, tell me how you interpret that. Are we arguing what was the best 4-player one, or are we pitching one?
We are arguing which was the best 4-player arcade game. And if you'd like to pitch it, you could pitch it onto what it should be on or where we should be able to play it now.
No, I'm just going to argue the arcade game.
But yeah, that's less important of where we could play it now.
Sounds good.
And the bigger part of the argument is what was the best 4-player arcade game. And we're talking true arcade. You had to go and play it in an arcade. Maybe a pizza place if they had an arcade there. Mm-hmm. Cicero, again, the power is yours.
All right,
take it or leave it.
I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna do this. There are several great 3-player games that I'll give honorable mention to, like Rampage and Pit Fighter.
Yeah, I wanted to argue Rampage, but that was only 3 players.
Yeah. Because I think Rampage and Rampage World Tour are probably the perfect multiplayer games, arcade games. This game is also an excellent 4-player multiplayer game because it's just fun. It's just fun all the time, and you know what the investment is up front, so you do it. You go into it knowing what it is, and then you get out and you're smiling the entire way. And I'll just say that I'm on fire with NBA Jam's Tournament Edition.
Go on.
Yes. Shout out to Tim Kitzrow.
All right. NBA Jam Tournament versus Mike. What you bring into the table? What do you bring into the stakes, rather?
So, travel with me to a place in time where we go to an arcade. 4 buddies of mine.
4 buddies.
Justin, if you're listening to this, maybe it's Enchanted Castle. You know how it is.
Maybe. Okay.
Roll into Enchanted Castle, and you got some quarters, right? You got some tokens.
You got some quarters. Okay. You got tokens.
One of my favorite 4-player games. Now, Jelly, stick with me because it's not cheating, but it's a little different. Okay. But I loved going to the arcade with 3 of my other buddies. And stop looking at me. 3 of my other buddies. And getting behind the wheel.
Okay.
And there was 4 separate arcade machines
Oh.
but they all were connected, and you could race each other.
Yes.
And that was Cruisin' USA.
Okay.
Now, Cruisin' USA, man, like, I have nostalgia for this game. It was on the N64. I played it there. It was in the home. You know, I played it all the time. Mm-hmm. But it was so much better in the arcade. You rolled up with your squad of 4. Each one took a wheel. You chose your cars, and you know, sometimes you would mix it up. You would be like, hey, we all got to do manual this time, or just like we all do automatic, something like that, to switch up the formula and race against each other. That is some of the best memories that I have, just pulling up to one of those Cruisin' USAs, duking it out with other people, racing. NBA Jam Tournament Edition, man, that's a good one. I wasn't even thinking sports. And so it's tough it's going to be tough to argue against that, because NBA Jam, man, it's NBA Jam. Let's just be real. But at the end of the day, I think Cruisin' USA just was so much fun. And it's something that as of recently just got kind of like a reboot of sorts with a new Switch release. I believe it's called Cruisin' Blast. So there's definitely a place for Cruisin' games now, and people seem to be enjoying the new one. So people are going to go to the arcades, hit that nostalgia, go to one of those $15 play for an hour or play the whole time arcades, find a 4-player Cruisin' USA, just have some fun.
Okay. Cicero.
Yeah. Well,
let's hear.
Listen, so the thing, Cruisin' USA is awesome. What was great about Cruisin' USA is that you guys could all sit down, you can play, and you can make your way through the United States as you're Cruisin' USA, and have your friends, and you sit down in your individual cockpits, and you can play through it. That part is great, except when you've got that one friend that keeps coming in first, and you're sitting around and you run out of money because it costs $1.50 to keep playing this stupid game, and this person keeps coming in first. Now you're sitting around, you're waiting for your friend to finish playing, and he keeps coming in first. But if you and your 3 friends decided that you were going to play a game of NBA Jam, 2 friends are on one side, 2 friends are on the other side, and you know that each quarter costs $1. You put your money in, you know you're going to play 4 quarters, and then it's over, and you know how long it's going to take. So you go there, you talk your smack, you pick your players, you have your fun, you go on fire, right? You heat up, and then you boom shakalaka, and it's over. High five, the end. You go on to watch a movie or do whatever it is that you were going to do. You're not just sitting around watching some other dude win all the time. You're hanging out with your friends.
All right.
Yeah, but that was the beauty of it, right? Like you could maybe lose a couple races against your friend, and then you can just put in some quarters yourself and just not play with the group, you know? Like there was things to do after you lost that first round or whatever. The thing that I see the problem with is that we were all kids playing NBA Jam Tournament Edition, and we were ball hogs. Like you're on a squad with another person, it's 2v2, and like you potentially won't get the same amount of enjoyment that you would with Cruisin' USA, because maybe your teammate is a ball hog, not passing. He's the one that's always on fire. He's the one that is, shooting 3. He's the one that's blocking. He's the one that's pushing the people, trying to steal the ball. Like, you're not getting the enjoyment that you want as well. Whereas at least with Cruisin' USA, you're racing. You have control of the game itself, and maybe you don't win, but you can always spend more at the arcade, baby. Like, you can add some more quarters to it.
You can spend more at the arcade, baby.
That is what the arcade was for. Quarter guzzling machines, that's all that matters. If you're spending, they're happy. And that's what Cruising USA made them do.
Well, you know what's funny is you kind of made my argument for me. So yes, you're right. You could be on a team with a ball hog. You could be on a team with someone that's selfish. But what you've learned now is that your friend really isn't your friend. They're selfish. They're a ball hog. So NBA Jam taught you about your friendship, and now you know that you need to get a new friend because they don't know how to be a team. They don't know how to share. They don't understand the importance of brotherhood.
Objection.
Of working as a
this
team.
has nothing to do with the video game itself.
But it does. But it does. It is a peek into the soul of the individual. Are they a team player? Right? And these are your friends, and you need your friend to be part of your team. People always thank their team. What is a team? A team is a group of people. Some are paid and some are friends that are there for you. And you need to know if your NBA Jam partner is somebody that is going to be there for you, or if they're just going to try and hog the spotlight. So maybe you need NBA Jam to find out if that person is a ball hog, or if they're going to pass and work together for you guys to accomplish a goal.
Well, here's why you need Cruising USA. You stroll up to a 4-player Cruising USA. Got 4 people.
Right.
Last one who crosses the finish line doesn't get to play Rampage. Nobody needs that friend. He's terrible at racing games. We're playing Rampage.
Look at that. Okay, so they get to watch.
Rampage, the true answer if
Rampage is
Justin didn't write the article.
All right. So there was a few things that were missed that could have been picked on. The fact that finding an arcade with 4 Cruising USAs, nigh on impossible.
He didn't say it.
They were. That's all I'm saying. It was missed.
Right.
Few and very, very far in between. I have never seen one. The most I've ever seen is 2, and they usually have 2 Cruising USAs with 2 of the other ones right next to it.
Cruising World.
Cruising World or one of the other racing ones, the motorbikes and whatnot else. Right. Missed opportunity there, but again, not brought up. For NBA, not much that you missed on knocking it down. But it also is like, it's got the nostalgia and it's got the feels. It's got the on fire, the heating up. And Cicero brought that to the table with him. So I think what we got to go with is, which one's better? The arcade game that shows you who your real friends are, or the arcade game where you can smash your friends and then keep playing, leave them in the dust with the flames, little gas, break gas, get the and the wheelies.
Yep.
And I think we got to go with the NBA tourney.
All right.
Now the reason is Cicero made a great argument about it shows you who your true friends are. And he took it beyond the arcade into real life so that you could better understand the people in your life, the people that you're choosing to do these games with and choosing to do life
That's
with.
all right. I'm playing Rampage.
It's important.
I'm playing Rampage. So.
Yeah. I'll meet you.
Which is a great game and terribly hard and terribly fun.
Who are you going to be? Who are you going to be?
Oh, I was going with the lizard guy. What's his name?
Well, Lizard, that's a woman. That's Lizzie.
Oh, Lizzie. Okay.
It's George, Lizzie, and Ralph.
Yeah, I always went with Lizzie.
Oh.
Was George the gorilla?
George was the gorilla.
That's who I played as.
Oh, okay. I enjoyed Ralph. We could have been a team. Look at that.
We
We could rampage
could
through.
smash and rampage.
Yeah.
Yeah, super fun. Grabbing the people.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Delectable.
So good. Again, if you guys haven't played Rampage, what are you doing? Just pause, stop this. You can come back to this. We're here for you anytime. Go ahead. It's on the Codename Classics, I'm pretty sure. You can just load it up on your Xbox. Tons of fun.
Can you?
I think it's free too. Yeah, I was playing with my son, who thought it was really fun and awesome that you could pull people out of buildings and eat them. So
While they're
he's
in the
old
tub.
enough to do this, obviously, by the way. I would never let my young child play games like that where you eat people out of buildings because
Oh,
I'm a good
it's on
dad.
Rare Replay.
Rare replay. There you go. All right. We have a blind fight. And Mike, oh, you lucked out. Boy and how, let me tell you here. The real question, I guess, is are you going to pick the easy fight? Or are you going to go the hard route and make it difficult on yourself? The blind fight this week, this is a blind quick attack, by the way, so those arguments better be succinct, straight to the point, all facts, no dilly-dallying,
I only spit
no
facts,
faffing
bro.
about. Okay, all right, I'm going to hold you to that. But if you guys are ready, I'm gonna give you the question. Then while I set my timer up, you'll have time to think. And that's the only thinking time you get. Mike, again, the power's in your court. You can go first or second. Here's the question. Now, with Halloween coming up, we're in a bit of a spooky mood. And what we're going to do is we're going to take it back to a versus match. Who versus who? This week, for a blind quick attack, it is Michael Myers versus Freddy Krueger. Who would win?
This is about video games?
This is not. No. We're going classic. I did think they have video games, to be fair, but no, we're
Michael
going classic.
Myers has a video game that was only released in Japan, and it's not fun.
Hey, it counts. All right, we doing 1:30:30, right? No changes to the format.
Cicero, you don't even watch horror films.
Yeah, but I know what they are.
He knows who Freddy Krueger is and Michael Myers.
I've seen them. I don't watch them, but I've seen them.
Michael Myers has a sight, right? And then Freddy Krueger's got like a hook for a hand. He's got like jello on his face and stuff. Pretty sure that's accurate.
Sure. I'll allow it.
All right. Mike,
Yeah.
you going first? Or you handing it off?
I'm going to go first.
All right. Timer begins when you start talking, my friend.
My friend Justin, you tried to trick me, but I'm going to trick you and surprise you. I'm choosing Freddy Krueger. Yes, Michael Myers is my favorite horror film villain of all time. It's my favorite series, the Halloween series, but I think Michael is too vulnerable in the mind. He is a brute force. According to this new trilogy, he gets stronger with each kill. With the more evil that he does, he gets stronger. But at the end of the day, Freddy Krueger battles the mind. He is in your nightmares. And I believe that Michael's mind is too vulnerable for that. I think that Freddy would totally take it, twist his mind, twist his ability to think properly, and twist his ability to function as an evil person. I think Freddy is just going to be too much into his mind.
Ooh, right on the money. Okay. Now, we've heard about Freddy.
Right.
Let's hear about Michael. Cicero, when you start talking, your time will begin.
Michael Myers is the greatest because, especially when it comes to battling Freddy Krueger, because Freddy Krueger does attack the mind. Michael Myers does have a fragile mind, but Freddy Krueger can only work in your dreams. Michael Myers doesn't sleep. You've never seen Michael Myers sleeping. So Michael Myers doesn't sleep. He's fine. Doesn't matter which continuity you're talking about. Michael Myers doesn't sleep. And so Freddy can't touch him. And if he comes around in regular life, then Michael Myers is going to kill him because he's a blunt object. That's all he does. That's what he's good at. And he is, he's proficient and efficient. He doesn't dream. The end.
Cicero is also proficient and efficient with his argument because he still had 17 seconds left and he didn't use it. All right, we're on to rebuttals. And as I set mine up, we are ready to go when you are. Mike?
Cicero,
Tell him I was
the
wrong.
problem with your argument is that he literally does sleep in the original canon. After Halloween 2, going into Halloween 4, he's in a coma, asleep. And then going into Halloween 5, he falls asleep a little bit as well. And plus, if you're looking at the real supernatural canon, he basically shuts down until the next Halloween. Like, he's this bro sleeps, dude, and Freddy could get him.
All right.
He hibernates.
That is time up. And Cicero, when you're ready.
Okay. I'm ready right now. That Michael Myers doesn't sleep. He hibernates. There's a difference. Freddy can't get to him when that happens. And if he does, Freddy's still gonna die because it's Michael Myers. He be punching and stabbing and smacking and ripping and doing all sorts of things. And Freddy's just making puns. It doesn't matter. Michael Myers all the time, all day.
All right. Again, efficient in the argument. We're moving on to closing. 30 more seconds. Mike, going back to you. When you're ready.
I think Freddy is just too powerful for Michael. Michael's mind is too weak. Especially in this new trilogy that they're making. They are making it seem that all Michael wants to do is go home and be in his house. And I just believe that his childlike mind is too susceptible to the attacks of Freddy. I think Freddy Krueger is just too powerful for what Michael is achieving in his mind, which is very
all right.
low.
Very good. Very good. Yep. No. Stop talking. Get out of here with that. Back to Cicero. Closing arguments when you're ready. 30 seconds on the clock.
What we've learned is that Mike Anstead likes bad villains because his favorite villain is Michael Myers, and he has just spent the last 2 minutes trying to talk about how Michael Myers is a terrible, terrible villain. And, I would say that he's done that successfully. And because he's done that successfully, I've won because I have tried to make his good character or his bad character sound good.
All right. That's that was absolutely an argument. I loved every minute of it. Mike, you walked away victorious with that one. Congratulations. Although, are you the real winner? Because as Cicero pointed out, your villain kind of sucks. He sleeps a lot. He's real tired. He's not a good killer, except for maybe he is, but we don't really know.
Right.
He might get stronger when he kills people.
Right.
He also may not. We just, by the arguments, I mean, do I even want to watch these Halloween films? That's where I'm at. Gosh.
Yeah.
But you did win. So
you
Mike,
won,
you're walking
but
away
you lost.
victorious. And test your might this week.
No,
how's it feel after a little absence?
I chose Freddy to throw Justin a little curveball because I knew he was going to try to get me. But also, I could have argued Michael as well. You don't take that away from me.
We'll never know. We'll never know.
Maybe next week.
What we do know is that it sounds like Michael Myers kind of sucks.
I didn't say that. I did say that. He doesn't have a mouth, so he can't possibly suck.
Wow, there you go. Boom.
Like straws. Come on, Mike. Get your head out of the gutter. It's time for Leaderboard. And Justin did this to me on purpose, so here it goes. Leaderboard is in order of best to not as good, and we are ranking the Zelda games. So this week's leaderboard is specific. It is only Zelda games. It is from best to not as good, and I get to go first for picking the games. Obviously, we know what my number one is. I think we just need to put this to bed right now.
Majora's
Ocarina of Time.
Mask.
Right. Followed up by Majora's Mask. And And then I'm going to choose Breath of the Wild. And those are my 3. Ocarina of Time, Majora's
all 3
Mask.
of those are getting on the list.
Are they?
We have to rank them because there's other games there. You know, I didn't Wind Waker or Link to the Past, the OG Zelda. There are other ones that I thought about taking. These ones were just the ones that I've definitely put the most time into.
All right.
I left a lot of good ones on the table. Cicero, you are up next, my friend.
All right. Well, OG Zelda, LOA or LOZ. And then we're gonna go LTTTP, L2TB.
Link to the Past.
Yes, 2 T's and a P. And then
All right.
And then we're gonna go Skyward Swords.
Oh, Skyward Sword. All right. Mike, you're up.
Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening.
I love Link's Awakening.
All right.
Twilight Princess.
I knew it was coming.
I haven't played Wind Waker, so I don't know if I could really choose it, but we're just going to put it up there. Wind Waker.
It's fantastic.
I have Wind Waker. I have the GameCube version over there.
You have it and you've never played it?
Yeah.
What in the world? Mike. Okay, not the time. Anyways, best to not as good before I get totally sidetracked. Sidetracked. Oh my gosh. Who am I? Anyways, we have to order them. And we're gonna have to be unanimous here from best to worst.
We have to order them.
That's the only fair way to do this. We've got to.
I think Cicero just should go 1 to 5. Go ahead. You try.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. You line them out and I'll tell you if I agree or not.
All right. Ocarina of Time. Breath of the Wild. Link to the Past. Wind Waker. OG Zelda.
And OG Legend of Zelda. Mike, do you see anything wrong with that?
Yes.
All right. What are you don't like Breath of the Wild?
I don't see a problem with the top 2. I don't like Breath of the Wild, but I do know the importance of it, and how good it is. So, top 2 I'm okay with. Honestly, I think I want to give Link's Awakening some love. Some love. The reason being is because yes, it is another 2D overworld, Legend of Zelda, but it has the quirkiness to it. Like, it has Mario villains in it. It has some weirdness to it. It has some really good dungeons that at some points are unforgiving, but certainly still viable. Link's Awakening was some of the most fun that I had playing a Zelda game, so I think it's worth a spot, especially since I haven't played Wind Waker. I know how beloved that one is, and I feel like Link's Awakening, and even taking into consideration the newest version, the remake on the Switch, like, I think it's probably better than the original.
So you would take Wind Waker out and put Awakening in instead?
No, he would take Legend of Zelda.
I would almost take the original out, put Link's Awakening in, because what didn't Link to the Past do better than the original? I guess that's my argument.
It's a fair argument, and I can get behind it. I don't like removing the original because the original set the standard.
But did it really? Like I feel like
right.
I feel like Link to the
created
Past,
the genre.
I feel
it
like
created
Link to
the
the Past
genre,
set the standard
Right.
for Zelda.
Right. Well, yeah. So Link to the Past, when you think you end the game, much like Ocarina of Time, when you think you end the game and then you wind up going into the past, right? Like that's like it's a whole nother game that you're playing. That's kind of where more of that like adventure stuff comes into play. I can see moving the original off the list for other games that have done it better. So I'm not married to the OG one on there.
Okay.
I would much rather have Link to the Past than if I had to fight for one of those.
Okay. I'm okay with this list. I can live with this one. It hurts me
Link's
dearly.
Awakening sneak into 4?
Above Wind Waker?
No.
No.
Wind Waker was like pivotal, iconic, especially with like the graphics and the story in it. The way the play was different and unique.
Link's Awakening to me, like, it's the most recent Zelda I've completed, but I think it's also my favorite. And I do understand its quirkiness, and I also it is the Switch version that I did play, but still, I really enjoy it. I mean, I'm okay with just Link's Awakening being on the list, but I don't know, it'd be nice if I could have one closer to the top there.
It beat out the original. That's got to be some bragging rights right there.
Well, that's because I made a good argument for why Link to the Past is on there. So
Yeah.
I'm cool with it. Don't touch it. I got my Link's Awakening on there. That's all I cared about. I would rather have Twilight Princess than Wind Waker, because I actually did beat Twilight Princess. I like that one.
Twilight Princess was good.
Twilight Princess was the one on the Wii, right?
GameCube and Wii.
Wasn't that GameCube?
GameCube.
It was
a simultaneous release.
It was a simultaneous release, right?
And GameCube version was the best. Was the better one.
Right.
I'm okay with this. I think that there will be people who would. I think Sean might disagree with my list, obviously, because he prefers Majora's Mask.
Well,
and I think he's a Twilight Princess fan as well.
He's not on the episode.
He's not on the episode, so he doesn't really get any input. Are we all happy with this? I'm happy with this list.
Happy.
Yes.
I'm happy enough.
Okay. All right. Well, there we've got it. In order, our ranking, our opinion. You can add us if you want. We have the top Zelda games listed from best to not as best. In this order specifically, number 1 spot, Ocarina of Time. Number 2, Breath of the Wild. Number 3, Link to the Past. Number 4, Wind Waker. And 5, Link's Awakening. We can parentheses, give it an asterisk, whatever, and say the Switch version because their new angle on it was better. But the game's still very good. That's it. You heard it here. This is our take on the list of top Zelda games, best to not as best. Whew. I'm happy with that. The subject is put to bed. Justin said no honorable mentions, but every game that we mentioned is worth it.
Right.
So all of them, if you haven't played them, you haven't checked out Zelda, you don't know about Zelda, you've never played, you can pick up any of them and enjoy it. Like, if you have access to the console to play it on and you see it in the bargain bin, snag that bad boy out, take it home, throw the cartridge in.
There's no
whatever,
such thing as a bargain bin for Nintendo games.
When you see someone on Facebook Marketplace selling their kids' stuff that they pulled out of the closet that's worth way too much money and they're selling for $5, you go snag that as fast as you can.
Please do.
That's what
and
I'm
then
saying.
Resell it.
And resell it for $80 all day after you play it. There we go. That's it. That's our take. Gentlemen, it has been a wonderful episode. Listeners and viewers, we love you and appreciate you, and thank you for showing up again. If you could just share this with your buddies, your families, your friends, that would be awesome. It would help us out, and you'll be doing them a favor, because if you enjoy it, then they'll enjoy it too. Thank you again for being here. Mike, I'm glad you're back. Cicero, always a pleasure. And we're signing off. Bye, everyone.
Adios.
Deuces.
Deuces.